So what does it take to really share an idea with the audience? Well, before we go there, let's look at a few ways where it really doesn't work. Because the truth is a lot of talks don't succeed. No idea is transferred. No communication happens. The biggest single reason for this, and the biggest talk to avoid, is the talk where you as the speaker plan to take instead of giving. You plan to sell, basically, from the stage. You think, this is my opportunity. I've got a cause to promote, an organization that needs support. I'm going to do all I can to persuade these people to support me. The trouble with that is that it's really off-putting to the audience. They immediately see that you're in it for a reason, for your own reason, and they may not get anything out of it. It's like, if you were invited for coffee with a friend, and you sit down, and then within a few moments of starting, you suddenly realize that they're trying to sell you their timeshare program or something like that. I mean, it's really annoying. You want to be out there as soon as you can. And a surprising number of talks have that same feel to them, where it feels like the speaker is pitching. We've had a couple of awful cases at TED, including one where I actually had to intervene on the stage to stop a speaker just promoting his consultancy services. And it was an embarrassment to everyone. And by the way, that kind of promotion always backfires. It just doesn't work. You promote yourself far better by putting that away and thinking about how you serve your audience. So that's one type of talk style that just doesn't work, the sales pitch. I want to share with you briefly 3 others to be avoided at all costs. The first is the ramble. So many speakers think that they can just come and wing it. They come underprepared to a speaking occasion, and they just talk about one thing that's on their mind, and then they shift to another, and they go, oh yes, and another thing that I just must mention before I stop is, and the audience doesn't know where they are heading. There's no connection between these different parts. The speaker may think that, hey, all of this is interesting. I'm an interesting person. Look at me. The audience experience is just one of deep frustration. Don't ramble. You owe it to your audience to prepare a connected talk. The third type of talk to avoid is what I've called the org bore. This is the talk that's fundamentally about an organization, not about an idea. Now, if you work for an organization, if you lead an organization, to you it seems really interesting, and you may feel you have this obligation to promote that organization and to frame everything in those terms. The trouble is that, honestly, those talks just aren't that interesting. If you don't work for that organization, those issues just seems distant, and it can easily seem promotional. So the key is to shift the framing and instead make it around an idea, perhaps using examples from your organization as examples, but make it about explaining what you've learned. So it's not, so 3 years ago, we set up this new department, and then I hired this person, and then they came on and did that thing, and we learned, whatever. Instead, don't do that. Say, we learned something really interesting 3 years ago. After I just hired this person, they did this, and they discovered that, and it was amazing, and I was amazed, and we all learned something. That feels like learning. The other feels like promotion and boring org talk. Don't be an org bore. And then the final one, and this is almost the one I'm most hesitant to say because it could be taken the wrong way, but I will say it. Beware the inspiration performance. Now look, we all want inspiration in a talk. It's actually the most powerful thing in a talk, where you end up and you feel this feeling welling up in you, and you want to cheer a speaker on. And sometimes people stand at the end of the talk and they give a big standing ovation, and the speaker feels like $1 million, and it's very thrilling. And it's also a trap. Some speakers want that more than anything, and they think, I've got to be inspiring, and they study inspiring speakers, and they go on stage and copy them in form only. So they'll try and be charismatic and have these big, physical actions and stride the stage and look people in the eye and lots of things that are actually quite good to do, but they'll do this in form only without the actual substance. You can't do that. If you do that, it feels manipulative, it feels shallow. Audiences will actually come to really dislike you. Inspiration isn't something that should be aimed for. Aim for an idea that matters. When audiences get inspired, it's because they're responding to work that they see as authentic, as courageous, as insightful, as work that matters. The speaker should be focused on that. So above all, don't make it your prime goal on stage to come on and inspire people and get a big reaction. Make it your goal to communicate an idea that matters, work that matters, something that the audience can really benefit from. That's your goal. If you do that, you never know, inspiration may tap you on the shoulder, tap them on the shoulder, and surprise you. But don't aim for it. Okay, so now that we've covered 4 types of talks that you should not give, we're going to move to describing the kinds of talks that you actually should give, and specifically the tools that you need to construct the talk that's right for you.